Say, man, before you watch those dirty websites, I would advise you to do something very wise and to wait, pause, and consider and weigh your options, right? I just finished my run Wednesday morning, no music, 22 minutes, like 1 second, you feel me? But before you watch those dirty websites, here's some advice that you should do when you're alone and you're feeling triggered. When you've had a great day, even when you wake up in the morning and you start to feel like you need to pleasure yourself, you feel that urge, that little jolt. You know, in Dragon Ball Z, they had that little electric shot that would shoot through their head and they would get like an epiphany or they would like power up. When you get that little and you want to go you feel me? You want to go watch a dirty website or websites. You want to scroll, you want to binge, you want to pleasure yourself. You need to sit back and then just breathe. Try this out. Next time you really feel triggered, sit back and then just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. And weigh your options. Think about what you're about to do. Think about everything else you could also be doing instead of that. I made a video recently about replacing your bad habits with good habits. This is where that comes into play. But before you do that, you have to step back and think and ponder. Weigh your options. If I do this, how will I feel afterwards? Majority of the time, you're going to feel shame. You're going to feel shame. You're going to feel, why did I do this? This is not just my testimony, but this is the testimony amongst others around the world. If you look up the algorithm of what I'm talking about, so many men, and maybe even women too, but I've seen the men talk about this indubitably, talk about the shame that they get post pleasuring themselves with dirty websites. You even may feel shame when you have actual sex. But before, as you're feeling triggered, when you're alone, you're feeling the temptations, step back and just think and pause and wait. Think about it. Think about what's driving me to do this. When you're feeling alone, what circumstance are you in? Are you alone a lot? Are you around people when you go sneak off? Do you have a lot of time on your hands? Is your purpose not fulfilling enough? Do you feel lost? Are you going through a heartbreak? Think about these things. Think about how you're feeling in the heat of battle, in the heat of temptation. You want to be like David and flee, correct? If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, Lord's will. And if I am, it's all right. Y'all see the pink sky? Oh, it's over there. It's blue behind me, but it's pink over there though. But anyways, you want to weigh your options. And if you weigh your options and you still feel like, man, I just want to do it, maybe I won't feel that shame. And then you do it and you feel that shame, go back and think about that same conversation you had when you was weighing your options and be like, dang, you may even do it again. You may do it again and again and again like how I did. You may be doing it on years on end and feeling that shame, months on end, days, weeks on end, with feeling that shame as I did. And you're gonna get to the point when you get so sick of it that you don't even have to think about it anymore. You know you're going to feel shame. You know you're gonna feel bad. You know you're not feeling content with your own spirit. But when you're in the heat of battle, sit back and then just weigh your options. Weigh your options. How will I feel if I do this versus if I was to do this? You know what I'm saying? It's not worth it. Your soul is so much more important than you think it is. We all have one. And sometimes I question what happened to a lot of y'all souls, the people I've met. It's been tainted with our lusts. And when you're in the heat of battle, sit back and then just think, what am I going to get out of this? I was watching I referenced this in past videos, but I was watching an interview about Offset from Migos when he was talking about quitting lean. It was the interview, I think he had like the red jacket on at the Breakfast Club. It was a solo interview. I think it was around the time when he dropped his first solo album, Father of Four. He was talking about when he was quitting lean, he had to think about what is it really doing for him and what is it doing for somebody else. So when you're struggling with watching those dirty websites, think about it. What is it really doing for you? And what is it really doing for somebody else? How is it helping somebody else? Is it helping somebody else? Is it even helping yourself? And when you start to sit back when you're alone and feeling triggered, and you start to question these things and think about these things, you start to have stronger conviction. You start to think more clearly. You start to actually think more rationally. You actually start to live the human experience. But when you're being a slave to your lust, doing things that you know you shouldn't, but you keep doing it, what do you think that's gonna do to your spirit? Huh? What do you think that's gonna do to your spirit? You feel me? Nothing good can come out of you being a slave to your lust. Literally, nothing good can come out of it. But when you're alone and you're feeling triggered, this is when that discipline, that power bites in. My personal testimony, I'll go my whole day without even thinking about it. I smoke weed, and then I would start feeling that the weed was a gateway into my further lust. When I was high, I was feeling more gluttonous. I was feeling more lustful sexually. I had a stronger drive just to do what would pleasure me, regardless of what it was. That was in my wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing anything sinister, but you know, sex, porn, weed, food, you know what I'm saying? That was like my thing, you know? And really the porn was far more greater than the amount of sex I was having in my life, you know what I'm saying? And you have to weigh your options. And where I'm at now, it's been 3 years since I've watched porn, since I've had sex, since I've smoked weed. 3 years, 1,000 some days, if that. And I really feel that, I know, and I've grown to understand that all it took was for me to keep feeling that shame day in and day out. I had to make myself hate it. I had to make myself hate the sin more than I felt like I hated myself when I was struggling with that sin. And it was destroying my confidence. But I got used to not having confidence. I got used to having people think I had confidence, but deep down I was broken because I was suffering with my lust. And as I look in hindsight about what I was going through then, I can spot that out in others. I can look at people and I can talk to men and I can tell by the shakiness of their voice, the avoidance of eye contact, he has a lust of porn addiction. My bad. He has a dirty website addiction, you know? And where I'm at now, I just feel so blessed that I've been delivered to where I can share that testimony. But I'm not too pompous because anybody can fall short, you know? I don't necessarily act like I'm invincible, but I understand that for me to actually go back into my vomit, for me to actually go back into what wasn't allowing me to feel liberated, I'd have to go back into that state of mind that I was in back then, when I wasn't sitting back in my alone time thinking about my triggers, when I wasn't thinking clearly, you know? And when you're alone and you start to feel tempted, you start to feel tempted by your temptations, sit back and just weigh your options. Take a deep breath. I remember I tried to do it one time and it didn't work out. 5 seconds later, you know, I thought about something else and I went and watched that video, beat meat, you feel me? Like, felt ashamed, looked at myself in the mirror. Why did I do this? Took a shame shower, got out the shower, felt rejuvenated, felt like, man, I felt reborn, tricking myself as if I really feel brand new, just to do it again that same night. I've been through those times. But where I'm at now, it's easier for me to tell you to just sit back when you're alone and think about your triggers, because I'm not suffering with that. But I still understand how it is, so I gotta talk on the level of somebody who's not where I'm at, you know? So when you're alone and you're feeling triggered, sit back and weigh your options to the best of your ability. Just sit back and think about what you're gaining and what you're losing. Think about the life you want to live versus the life you're living now. And what I'm about to do right now by watching these dirty websites and pleasuring myself, is it conducive to the growth that I see for myself? Don't lose hope. Keep your heart 3 stacks. God bless the sons of Abraham. God bless the daughters of Sarah. God bless God's chosen people, the Israelites. You feel me? And another thing, do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself, because you can do it. You're stronger than how you think. Sit back, weigh your options, think about what you need to do. The work needs to be done. I'm probably gonna be saying this in every single video. The work needs to be done. You're wasting time. You don't need to be wasting time. I'm telling you. I can't really say if time's on our side or not, you know? But you have to work with the blessing that you are to wake up another day. When if today was your last day on earth? You feel me? Like,